So my name is Dorothy Civitillo. I currently live in Lynchburg, Virginia. And I went into the Air Force when I was 18 years old. It was like a total, it was an opportunity for me to get out of my hometown. I grew up in Lompoc, California. There's an Air Force base there, Vandenberg Air Force Base.
Okay.
And I went into the Air Force and ended up getting stationed back in California. And I actually only stayed in for about 1.5 years because I married a military guy. We started having our family, and Desert Storm kicked off, and we decided we didn't want to be dual military while a war was happening.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
So I got out so that we could have someone at home if he were to deploy. So that was our plan.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Did you go right out of high school?
Oh yeah. I just, you know, my town was a little farming community, and I was already like I had potential trouble with the capital T,
sure,
you know, going on. And I was like, if I don't get out of here, I need to get out of here.
Right.
So I knew the Air Force was an option because I worked out on the Air Force Base in high school, and so I was comfortable with the Air Force.
Yes.
And I just decided to say yes, and it was a great experience. It was a really great experience.
And did you meet your husband while you were in the Air Force?
Yeah. Okay. So for people that have been in the military, like, you know, back in the day, there was a way to use the telephone, and we met actually over DSN or the Audubon system. And we met, it's kind of a crazy story, but we met because we had the same jobs in the Air Force. And his base in Charleston, South Carolina was a base that I called often. Okay. And he answered the phone, and we became friends.
Oh, wow. So online dating before online, really?
Yes.
On phone dating.
Yeah, through the Air Force DSN line.
Yes.
The calls that we were making were called laterals. We were both in supply. And it was a high priority telephone call to get these parts that we needed for our airplanes quickly. It was like we needed them tomorrow.
Right.
And so it was called a lateral. And so we say we went lateral for love.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I love that. That's awesome. So
thank you, United States Air Force, for providing me a good man.
That's right. That's incredible. What a great way. You know, there was a time in history where women went to school for their Mrs. degree, but you went to the Air Force for yours.
Yeah,
so
I actually did.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know you were in there a short time, but what did you love about while you were in there, and then what was one of the difficult things?
I think what I loved about being in the Air Force was I just felt part of a team. I felt part of something bigger than myself. Sure. You know, and once I went through my trainings and stuff, I knew that I was part of the support team that helped that plane be in the sky, which is the mission of the Air Force, is to have, you know, these pilots be able to fly the cargo planes or the jet pilots, the fighter planes. And I really did feel like I was a part of the mission of the Air Force, even though I had a small part, or I wasn't on the flight line. I still knew that what I was doing had an impact on that, and I loved that team. I loved basic training, and
you don't hear that very often.
I know. It was fun. It was an all-girls squadron. Right. I still have a very dear friend from that time. That was in 1989. That was a long time ago. Yeah. And we just had experiences together that we still just laugh hysterically about, and it was a really good time. Probably the hard part for me, honestly, was more personal. It was just leaving home and not really knowing how to reel it in, how to have any sort of self-control. That whole trouble theme, was always nipping at my heels, and not really. And when you're in the military, it's just really, for me, it was really easy to kind of go into, I didn't really know how to navigate my off time. Sure. And so
You could still find trouble, it sounds like, if you wanted to.
I could still find trouble. And so I just didn't, and I didn't really have a place to share that, you know.
Sure.
So anyways, that was probably more of the harder part for me, because then it was hard to study for my tests that I needed to pass to advance in my skill set.
Right.
And it was like too much freedom for me.
Yes.
Too soon.
Yes, I understand that.
But I would have never said that then, you know.
Yes.
Like, give me all the freedom.
Yeah, give it to me. So how do you define strength now versus back then during that time? What do you see now as your strength than then?
Yeah. Probably back then, I probably saw my strength more physical, you know, like I was really like athletic and physically active, and probably relied more on feeling like a strong, especially as a woman in the Air Force or in the military, you know, being able to do the obstacle courses and things like that. To me, I didn't really probably know much about mental strength or like my spiritual strength. And so I think it was probably really easy to focus on the physical strength because it was measurable. And it was praised.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And so, you know, so then compared to now, it's like really knowing that that my strength is not just physical, although that's part of it, but really more of a mind, body, soul, spirit strength that I tend to live from. And yeah, that would be probably how things have changed. You know.
And that leads into kind of what you're doing now.
Yeah, totally.
So tell me about what you're doing now.
So now I have a coaching business called Holistically You, mind, body, soul, spirit. And what I really desire to do is to connect people to their strengths and have just a more holistic approach in life, in business, in marriage. You know, it's like the tools that I've picked up along the way over the last 10 years really have strengthened me as a person, strengthened my marriage, and just strengthened the relationships around me. And so, yeah, I really love getting to build and refine what I'm doing. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me how your faith has shaped your journey from service to the work that you do today. Let's talk about that.
Okay. You know, I think that, well, when I went into the Air Force, I for sure like had a knowledge of God and a relationship with God. I don't know if I really felt called to the Air Force. Again, I really, it was kind of an escape, you know, an escape plan. But I had a sensitivity to God and just really wanting to be in a place of light, you know? And so, and I think I was that, you know, like actually some of the conversations that I have with my friend from basic training, she's like, you just were, you know, you were the sunshine, you know, and you made things fun. And, you know, just kind of getting that feedback, you know, like, I can't even do the math, 1989 to now, you know, like, I don't know. Is that
feels like forever, right?
Almost 40 years?
Yes.
Wow. And so to get that feedback from her, you know, even today. And so I think that I still, you know, carry that, but just with more intention. You know, it's like I really believe that every word I say, any way that someone experiences me, you know, it's like I just want to reflect God in that, and be, you know, I want to be an instrument of peace. I want to be someone that people can come to for nourishment, and like real relationship. And yeah, I just think that he's put that in me to be real and just kind of lay down our natural tendencies of humans to try and cover up the mess, you know. And it's like sometimes in our mess we find real friendship and connection. And I just think that that's such a powerful place to be with humanity, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what it is in the trenches, right? I wasn't in the Army, so I wasn't in the trenches.
Right.
But that's what is experienced in the trenches. And it's like, you can't get more real than that, honestly.
Yes.
And those people that have been in the trenches together have these lifelong relationships that have no word. There's no words needed, you know?
Yes, yes. Yeah. So let's pivot just a second and talk about you said your husband was in the military, so you were a spouse of military, of a veteran, your spouse of a veteran. Tell me how that taught you. I think a lot of times we talk about the veteran and what they've done, but it takes a family to do that. Tell me about how that was for you.
You know, I never knew. I'm sure our experience was like a little different because I was also in the military, and I actually did the exact job that he did. So I always felt like I could support him because I had the experience that I knew what he was going through to some degree, and so I do feel like our role, and mine and our daughters, our role to support my husband and their dad, you know, while he actually never deployed. You know, we never really had to go through that, which was really kind of a miracle, honestly. But I just think that role it's an unseen role. Yes. It's kind of an unthanked role. Yes. And the way that I actually really experienced that was that when my daughter got married, she married a guy that decided to go in the Navy.
Oh, wow.
And so we were able to see the military life now, next generation. Yes. And that was so precious. And so, like, we have a picture of my husband and my son-in-law saluting each other. My husband gave my son-in-law his first salute as a Navy officer. Wow. And it was like so powerful. Yes. And so when Amy and Jordan moved to San Diego, they were there for some time, but then they moved to Gulfport, Mississippi, and we knew he was going to be deployed to Croatia for 8 months. Wow. And we were in a position that we could actually go to Gulfport, Mississippi and live there that year and support my daughter while her husband was gone. But most of those families in the Navy, well, you're a Coast Guard, you're a Coast Guard kid. Man, those guys, they're on rotation, they're leaving, like that's just what they do. Yes. And it was really something to be on that base and make friends with these women whose husbands were gone, you know, for a year, home for a year, and then gone again. You know, and it was actually really heartbreaking. And it's like, I don't think that the civilian world knows. So like, that was my thing when I was thinking about this interview. I was like, I just want people to know, if you know any military families, even if you don't live near them, like pop them a card in the mail and find ways to encourage them, you know, and a little Starbucks card goes a long way, you know, because I really felt like my experience that year in Gulfport, Mississippi, we were already retired, but to see these families, you know, trudging along, they are really the ones I feel like serving our country. Yes. Because the husbands go and they have these jobs to do, and they're just on kind of autopilot. And I'm not saying that that's not a hard life. Right. But gosh, these families, you know, back home who have a broken leg and have got to get up in the middle of the night to take their kid to the hospital or fix a washing machine that's busted a hose, you know, it's a lot of stress on the family. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So
that's a great perspective that you're giving, showing not as just as a wife, but as a mother watching, you know, her daughter and experience that as well.
And I don't know what it would have been like for them had we not been able to go. Yes. But we could. Yeah, and we're really grateful that we were able to serve. Yes. You know, and once again, I kind of felt back in that role. It was like we're serving not just our daughter, because I was able to be a part of other families' lives there. Right. But man, it's a hard life. Yes. It really is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really great. Any more? I asked all those questions in that one. Is there any more you want me to ask?
What about is there any kind of support that you think that veterans need that they're not getting?
Okay, that's a great question. Yeah, and feel free to kind of incorporate what you're doing now, about that mind, body, and spirit, and how, because we know mental health is huge. So tell me about what kind of support do you see that our veterans need that maybe they're not getting, especially with your perspective with what you do as a coach?
I know. I don't know. I just think education is so important. It's like being able to. So I really believe education empowers, and really having a safe place to learn. That's really why I have my weekly meetup. But it's like, how could that go into like the veteran community as well? I don't know. Maybe I need to think about that. But it's like having a place to encourage and empower through education, so that veterans can have a safe place to share what their struggles are.
Sure.
And it's like and everyone has a different experience. Some of these veterans have seen horrific things.
Yes.
And I don't really know, but I know the one who does know.
Yes. Yes.
So I don't know what the answer is for that. It's like that you have that extreme where you have another, like my husband never deployed.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like veteran,
Yes.
And so how to address their physical need, which would be like nutrition and supplementation, and really having a clear understanding of why and how to do that in a way that's affordable, because that's the other thing. It's like, gosh, we've got a lot of supplements in our house. It's like, I don't even know what I'm doing with most of them, So having someone that would actually provide like targeted support that way, and a way to move again a little. I've also got my certification in Christian yoga training, and I think that yoga is like amazing for the whole person.
Right.
So how to make that maybe for some people not so weird.
Right. Right.
Because yoga, I think, can kind of have like a weird.
Sure. Especially military, tough military guys, right?
Yeah. So it's like incorporating movement.
Yes.
Because physical movement actually moves energy through the body. So things that get stuck, maybe just some light movement can actually help move the trauma through the body.
Sure.
And just giving resources that have the opportunity to connect the individual, spiritually, connect back to themselves emotionally. I was just sharing with you guys earlier, we just moved here, and I've been here for 3 years, but it's been in this last year where I feel like I'm home.
Yes.
And I think that there is something about coming home to ourselves and learning what that path is.
Yes.
But it's very individual, and it's very it is individual, and it's very personal, and it can be very treacherous. So having, in the Air Force, we have, a wingman or a point man. And so having people in your life that are part of your support system.
Yes.
That's actually one thing I think in the military you 100% have. The reason why those families can do that when their husbands are deployed is because they have this support network that is so tangible,
Right.
And I was just talking to somebody the other day that said, when my husband deployed, I don't go home because I don't have the support at home with family that I do on the base. Isn't that interesting?
It is, yes.
And so I think that once you transition out of that life, it is different. We don't live on base anymore. Now we live in a neighborhood that people drive in their driveway, go in their house, and I still have neighbors that I've never met here.
Yes.
But and when we lived on base in the military, we knew all of them across the street, down the street. We just knew.
So true. Yes.
We worked together, we lived together, and that support was there. And so, I think that for veterans who had that experience coming back into the civilian world. It's, you know,
they feel a little lost in that, don't they?
Lost.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's like, how do I find the people I can trust, and how do I create a safe place for myself now?
Yes.
To be present.
Right.
And move forward.
That's so true. Very true.